Hey, just a quick update on my SBDC111, the green Willard. Got it back on the timegrapher, and just showing the latest results of my regulation of the watch. It was the first time I tried it after I put in the new NH35A movement. It was I'm trying to remember. I think it was running a bit fast, or was it slow? I don't know. You gotta watch my video. And then I regulated it, and the first day out, at the end of the day, it was basically it was better, definitely. It was holding a pretty consistent -3, -4 between two apps. That's the results I was getting, right around there, -3, -4 seconds per day. But I wanted to get it a little tighter, preferably to push it into the positive deviation, so I'd rather get some gain. It's always more preferable to me, unless the loss is extremely low, which 3 and 4 -3, 4 seconds isn't bad actually, but I thought I could do better, so I regulated it again, and this is what I'm getting right here. I have to do it dial side down for some reason with the case back on, and I put it on a timegrapher. It doesn't read it too well. It's all wacky. Something about the way the case is, but for the dial side down, this is how I regulate it anyways. It seems to pick it up fine. I guess I'm out through the dial or crystal, and this is how the watch basically should be, I guess, when it's on wrist, right? 12 o'clock down, and yeah, it's looking pretty good. 0 beat error, amplitude is it's decent. I forget what it was earlier, but holding 250 or so. It's not supposed to be super high. It can get there, but yeah. What else can I say? I had to actually remove the movement before I regulated again, because I was checking it. I was getting some weird readings, like almost every minute or so. It seems to be a regular interval. Like it would the rate would take a dip, like pretty drastic dip to like -8 or something around there, while I was doing basically -3 or 4 or something like that. I forget. I have my notes here. So yeah, so originally I was getting about with a movement up, movement side up, facing down, it was -5 to +1 second a day. With the 12 down, I was getting -7 to -3. So my thinking was to change it to get about minus, with the movement up, -1 +5, right? Because I wanted to regulate to get it about because what I was getting was -3 to -4. So I figure if I adjust it so that it changes, it should be right around -1 to +5. And at 12 down, I'm thinking I should want to try to aim for -3 to +1 on the timegrapher. And I think in the end, this is what I got. Ended up with what I could regulate it to, and it was at +2, +5 movement up, and then -1 +1, 12 down. And you can see it fluctuates sometimes, but basically it's doing much better than that 6R35 movement. The amplitude took a dip, but whatever. I do recognize sometimes there's some weird fluctuations, but overall I'd say what I'm tracking actually on my watch apps, I always do this with all my watches. I've been getting actually in actual performance, I'm actually getting pretty much 0 deviation. It does fluctuate throughout the day when I'm working and whatever, more active. It'll gain a little bit, but when I go to sleep and go overnight, excuse me, it'll take a little bit of a dip. So yeah, so but then when the daytime it goes back up, and then it kind of balances out. I'll see if I can flash a screenshot of those two measurements for a moment somewhere here. And as I talk about it, you'll see that one app will show, yeah, basically, you can just pause the screen and take a look at it and see what you can make out of that. And then I'll show up the other one, and you can see the rate, is basically like plus or minus 0.2 or at best or worse. And one app is showing 0, so it's basically holding really good. This is a course of over basically 2 days since I last regulated it. So just to show that that's the important thing that matters, is what's on wrist and actually on use. What the timegrapher shows, static position, is a good baseline for where, to look at it generally, like where it is statically. And as you're adjusting it, you can see, you can make your adjustment accordingly based off that, and then see how that affects real world usage. Obviously you can't do it while it's in motion on the timegrapher. Well, you maybe kind of could, but it would be very difficult. But yeah, this is just to get a baseline, what theoretically should be, but what I'm getting actually on wrist is actually much better. Well, not much better, but it's definitely pretty darn good. This should be flatlining to 0 in a moment, right? Because I just changed the position, and excuse the noise in the background. Just doing my laundry. So 0, and then it looks like it's starting to gain now. You can see the curvature kind of rise a bit. You can see it in relationship to the +1, like relationship to the where it was. It's just a little higher. And then let's see if it's downside up. I'm just curious what it's showing. Just to see what the timegrapher shows, and sometimes obviously I'll have this and see it now it's gaining. But rarely I'm like this. But overall, I mean, it's hard to specifically gauge, but based off of what this is showing me, it's +10. But what I'm doing, however my wrist is, what position it's at, and also keep in mind, motion of the wrist will, obviously those forces will have some effect on the movement as well. I base it off of my own body rhythm, basically, what I do, and adjust the watch accordingly, and we see what the results are. And this really doesn't matter what the timegrapher shows, but it is interesting to see what it does show and what I'm actually getting. It's kind of different, I don't get +10 now. And keep in mind, this actually my watch has been off wrist for a little bit, so there could be also temperature variances which could affect the movement as well. And that's why for me, unless it's COSC, which I believe should be regulated and balanced to be as stable and as consistent as possible, whether it's static in any position or whether it's on wrist, it should hold basically within a certain performance tolerances, right? Keep it pretty tight to a certain degree. There are variances, but that's why you have things cost. It's supposed to be certified and should be guaranteed to operate within much tighter tolerances, whether it's sitting, static, or on wrist. Okay, come in. I'm just working on the computer. I'll be right up. So anyways, I gotta go up and have dinner. But since it's not, I like to measure it based off of what's on my wrist, because that's will be very consistent in terms of temperature and whatever I'm doing and so forth. But anyways, much better performance. It's I'm getting 0 basically, so we'll see how that holds. But so far, what I did to fix the messed up movement in here that it came with the 6R, you can't go too wrong with a $40 NH35 movement. Very robust, reliable, much more consistent, and I like it. Thanks for watching.